Mm, Alright, I think this should be a pretty good shape for the big snow pile. Maybe I could curve it outwards a little bit more, or, oh, hi, hello. Uh, hello, I'm Average Joe, welcome back to the world. I've been doing not a lot of work on the kitchen here. Um, yeah, hey, take a look at this, tell me what you think. So this is kind of what I'm thinking the big snow pile is gonna look like. It'll be like really low up the front and then spike up towards the end, making kind of like a wall in the back here. Players can walk around. Um, I am not sure if I want to go with this, honestly. So, I'll probably, I don't know, think about this for a little bit. If anyone has a better idea on what it could look like, you can just put something in the comments. But this isn't actually what I wanted to show you today. Meet me over in the hub, and I'll actually show you what I'm talking about. Oh hey, you found it already. This is a very tiny chest that I've been working on. It does not actually hold any items, but you can right-click on it to, like, activate different effects, and it'll disappear when you do, just like this. See? And then if you wander far enough away... Said maybe if you wander far enough away... Okay, well, it's supposed to come back. Maybe it's because you guys are too close. Ah, yeah, see? There it is. So this is essentially just a modified version of something I did in the Chest City. In the shop, there is a small chest you can right-click and it gives you bread, mostly as a placeholder. But this is a version of it that's kind of all compressed into one command block. I used a function to make it operate. And I added a little thing so that you could change what the block is. So if I did like command block, then it should, yeah. So I can turn this into like whatever tiny thing I want. You click on it, it goes away, and you move away, it comes back. I want to make it so that it's basically detecting if there are any players in a specific area. So the idea is that when everyone is in one of the boards, they go around and they click on these little things to collect different scrap materials from like a loot table or something. But once one player right-clicks it, then it's gone. You can't collect anymore. And to do that, I need to either detect if there are any players in the area, or detect if it has already been clicked during the game, and I'm not 100% sure how to do that most effectively. Right now it's just detecting players in a 10-block radius. I could probably run something to tag a player if they have found it so that it doesn't respawn, but there's minor complication with that. Okay, so here's the thing. All the function is doing is spawning this block here. It's also getting rid of the It's also resetting the check to make sure that this block has been right-clicked. What actually does the deletion thing is an advancement. If I can just check my files really quick. Okay, so all that's happening in the command block is it is detecting if this... there's two entities here. There's the block display and the interaction. All the command block is doing is checking if those are there, and if there is a player within 10 blocks. If there is not a player within 10 blocks, and there is not a block entity, a block display, or an interaction entity, then it'll just spawn them. When you right-click on this, there is an advancement that detects if you have right-clicked on an entity that has a specific tag that the interaction entity has. And then it runs a function that just deletes the interaction entity. Now, deleting the interaction entity is what should trigger giving you the scrap or the loot. But I made the advancement very generalized. I want the advancement to be generalized so that I can use it in multiple places. But if I want the advancement to be used for scrap, then it needs to be for a specific entity that you use for scrap. Right now, this is just detecting an entity that has the tag tiny chest. So if I want to have different tiny blocks do different tiny things, then I need to have multiple different advancements for each thing I want it to do. And now that I say that out loud, that doesn't exactly sound like a horrible idea. So yeah, I'll probably get on that. I don't know what I want to do for this tiny chest thing. So this has to be a block, right? And there are a ton of different blocks. So I kind of have to pick something that would represent a pile of garbage. And in my opinion, all of these blocks are beautiful and should not be used to represent piles of garbage. So I could, in theory, just have it be a chest or an ender chest. But I kind of want it to be like something that you would like ruffle through or whatever. So like a pile of, junk, and there isn't really any one block that specifically looks like that. But, I'll think of something, and probably work on the snow pile in the kitchen as well. Gonna be working on this and the decoration in the kitchen today, basically. I am so sorry about all the rambling. Alright, so it's been a few days. Minecraft has updated to 1.21.5. Turns out it broke a lot of stuff. They changed how your offhand is stored in your MBT data. And considering that's how I get the blocks for my fill thing here, that broke some things, unfortunately. But, I fixed it, for one. And I've been working on filling in the snow slope here. Oh, what would be fun if there was like a way to ski this? Right, getting distracted. Anyways, right now I'm right now I'm working on the slope, but I have done a little bit of work on the scrap mini block things. I've actually made it. I had a lot of problems with it. The way I was doing it was inefficient, to say the least, but it works a lot better now, and I can actually collect items from it. I can make arbitrary code run based on the tags that the items have. It did actually interfere with the editor I got here as well a little bit, because I use an interaction to... Oh, that was a mistake. I use an interaction to check when you are right-clicking a wand. So that was a mistake, but it's fixed now, and it's fine. It should be alright. In other news, I have a little spreadsheet for the items I want to use in the scrap minigame? Can you call this a minigame? The scrap thing. I've been working on a spreadsheet, and all of my friends know that I'm really into spreadsheets. You should see my Magic the Gathering spreadsheet. Or my Pokemon one. Anyways, I'm using this to kind of determine what the... I'm using this spreadsheet to determine what the best spread, I guess, of items would be based on value and things like that. So you can kind of see from this screenshot I have on the screen that I've got 5 different scrap items, and they're mostly just material scrap. I don't have any idea what I'm going to do for, like, trinket scrap or whatever you would actually call that, now that I think about it. But I do have some values. I've got some line graphs telling me how the values compare to each other. I've added, you may notice, a little entry called Scrap Dice. And that is because I want you to be able to get a unique dice from collecting scrap. I don't think it will do anything too, what's the word? Impressive. But I do want to put it together because the idea is that the scrap minigame will be there to kind of help players get things they can use in the board games. Board games are basically the main goal of everything, really. If it is in the game, it will... Oh, shoot. It should help you with the board game. Okay, so I think I've got a good pile of snow here. At least it looks pretty good to me. I tried to shape it out in wool first before I did any of the actual coloring it in. And that noise tool is really useful for when I want something to have just minor texturing. Admittedly, it takes me a while to figure out exactly how much of one block I want compared to how much of another block I want. But yeah, the results pretty much speak for themselves. It looks great, honestly. In the salvage front, I put together a loot table for everything I had an entry for in the spreadsheet I had. I don't have one for the dice yet. Doing the dice is going to be complicated, as well as the dice I had, the special dice I had as an idea for this area in general. I haven't taken a look at my notes in a while, but I remember that I wanted there to be a dice that would be one number. So the idea is that it's frozen dice, and when you get it, it's frozen at one number, so that's the only number you're going to roll. As opposed to burning dice, which start at 6, but the number goes down every turn you don't use it, and when it hits 0, it burns away and leaves behind a different item. That's actually going to be pretty tricky to do, now that I think about it. But those are, like, unique dice for the kitchen area here, and I do want to eventually put them into place. But I think next what I need to do is actually figure out the path of the spaces in this room, and maybe come up with like some unique interactions that can happen here. I don't really have any ideas. I've been a little stressed lately, so I haven't been focusing on this. But yeah, got some stuff to figure out, and I'm sure I'll get something good. Get a nice, good idea out of it, but, yeah, until then, gotta figure out what I'm doing. Alright, I think this is going to be the last update for this video. I have, in the hub, kind of moved away from the board a little bit, and I've decided I am going to chop off basically the entire top of this mountain, and I'm going to put the burned down ruins of a mansion on there. It will be a smaller mansion than what the actual board is like, but I figured since the ways to get into the boards are kind of in areas that relate to the board, it would make sense to have, like, an actual manor other than what's here take you to the manor. I have been working on decoration plans for the kitchen. They're not anything too special yet. Really, I've just been trying to figure out a way to work in cabinets and, like, countertops into the space. So I kind of came up with these little things here that are meant to be countertops with cupboards mounted over the top of them, so I can put like furnaces or crafting tables in here, maybe some chiseled bookshelves for shelving units and stuff. And I'm trying to decide if I want to go with rounded corners, flat corners, or these beveled corners, I guess. These kind of make the countertops look like a more permanent fixture. These also look like a permanent fixture, but they don't have... I don't know. That feels a little better than this, but this with the stairs on the side also feels a little bit weird, like the base is too wide for the structure. And this just makes it feel like this is a temporary structure that was put in here, like you could pick it up and move it around, and I don't want that to be the case. I've also kind of worked on a potential, like, 4-way section for this. So I'm thinking having these, like, be in rows, and this could be, like, some kind of intersection of countertops or whatever. The main problem I am having is that players might be able to get into the barrels and store things, which is not ideal. However, I do have this idea here. So this barrel, give me a second, data get block this one, has a loot table to it. So when I open it, it will generate loot. So it's got a wood scrap in there, right? And you can see right above my little interface here, you can see that there's an armor stand sticking out of there, and I'm throwing these birch planks in there as a little bit of a test. I've set it up so that when you open a barrel with a loot table, when you exit out, it will generate more loot. And it's good to see that anything you leave in there will essentially be deleted. Now, there's one problem with this. You might think that using a loot table and deleting items would mean if the player accidentally puts something in there, it's deleted, and you know what? That's actually, I'm okay with that, honestly, because this is not meant to be storage. If a player thinks they can get away with putting something in there, they should not be allowed to. I understand that does mean if someone puts something in there by accident, then it's going to be deleted, but I don't want players to even be able to store things in there, so that's just a risk that's going to have to be taken. The main issue is that this basically generates infinite items. So no matter how many times I open it, there will always be some loot in there. Now I could make it so that this does not produce the scrap loot, and in all honesty, that was what I was going to do. I was probably just going to put in, like, food, or, food, but I don't know if I will ever use this. Otherwise, I have to lock all of these barrels to make it so that players can't interact with them, like, at all. Which, I can do that. That's not a big deal. I copy and paste these, and the lock is copied and pasted along with the block, so that's not an issue. But I do need to decide if I want there to be some barrels that players can open and get things like food or resources that they might need. Other than that, I did figure out where I'm going to put the little librarian excursion, and I'm putting it behind the refrigerator. I'm thinking I'm going to put, like, little radiator things back here, so that back here is warmer than in front of it. Because what a refrigerator does is it takes the hot inside of it and ejects it out the back or the bottom. The one we have at our house is the bottom. But I would put it out for the back here, and that would keep, like, this little area where they've kind of set up camp to stay warm. So I think that's a good place for the little librarian excursion to go. I'm wondering if maybe there should be, like, some weird, creepy monsters that are in the kitchen or something that are made out of food, and you have to fight them and kill them to get food or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about a lot of things. Something else I'm not sure about is the roof. So I've been considering putting up some decorations. I've got, like, frozen ice treats over here, what's meant to be a carrot over here, and I'm thinking, like, having maybe some plants or vegetables sticking out in the hot section and frozen treats in the other section. The one thing that is missing from all of this is the eyes. There needs to be eyes everywhere in this board. And if I cover the roof in decorations, there won't be room for eyes. I could put them along the wall, I suppose. Actually, that might be a nice compromise. And if I do like plants and stuff and the things, maybe I'll do like a section with dirt that the plants are coming out of, and for the frozen bit, it's like a picnic blanket or something, an upside down picnic blanket. I don't know. Things to think about. A lot of things to think about. But I have been working on decorations. This is kind of as far as I've gotten. It turns out when the 1.20.5 update happened, it broke a bit more in my little tool set than I thought. But that's resolved. It didn't take very long. Honestly, it just comes down to I'm distracted with real life and stuff, which I always am. You guys know that. So, yeah. I still haven't figured out the path I want to take. I am thinking, right, that the path that gets taken goes around here and behind the oven, and then it splits off in two directions. You can either go this way around the snow, or you can go this way around the snow and go through the little librarian camp. But no matter what, you're going to be leaving through this doorway. And I have an idea for the return trip to the central room that takes you through the basement. And I'm not going to spoil the basement yet, because I want to get all of this finished before I do any of that. I have yet to figure out what the upstairs is going to be. As that sign says, I don't know what to do up here. Yet to be determined. I'll figure something out, I'm sure. I'm thinking maybe a bathroom with a giant tub and have everything be flooded or something. That does actually sound kind of nice. But yeah, I'm gonna keep experimenting with this. Next episode, I will either be bringing you an update on all this, or I'm going to be going back to the survival world, and instead of making, like, a new little data pack thing, I'm just gonna play survival for a little bit. Maybe update the data packs so that they actually function, not necessarily update them on the website, because I don't know what's broken and everything yet. I need to experiment with that. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you feel like subscribing, that'd be great, honestly. And, yeah, I guess I'll see y'all next time. Bye.